Yeah, good morning, everyone. Okay, let's get started. So today we'll see how to install SQL Server. But before that, I asked you to find out a few of the keys. Yes? Ready? Okay. Who wants to go first? Yeah, a couple of keys that you see around, right? So they sound unique. What kind of key? I mean, what are those keys that you? User ID, okay. Okay, user ID. Any other?
IMEI number.
Passport number. Perfect. IMEI on the mobiles. Okay. What else?
Bank
UPI
account number.
transaction ID, bank account number, Aadhaar number, PAN. Okay.
Vehicle number.
ID. Okay. Online. You saying something?
Vehicle number.
Voter ID.
Water ID, railway reservation number. Right. Yeah. You see a lot of IDs like this. And these things play a very crucial role in order to
Yes, sir.
track those things or identify what kind of a transaction is it, okay? So we'll talk about these IDs in detail with the help of primary keys and foreign keys, how they can be tracked. We'll discuss that. But yeah, you got some idea, right? Each and everything that you see around, each and everything has an ID, right? Using these IDs only, we can identify those things. Something like even the metro pillar has an ID, right? Every metro pillar has an ID, a serial number, right? A series, B series numbers there, right? Every ticket that you buy on metro, I mean, that you buy for a metro travel, that also has an ID, right? A transaction ID or a ticket ID, right? If you go to a restaurant and if a bill is generated, there is a bill ID, right? You buy something from a shopping mall, you have an invoice number or a shopping, that bill ID or something, right? So these IDs, they play a very, very crucial role, and we'll talk more in detail about them, okay? But before that, we just need to go through a few of the SQL commands, SQL concepts, okay? So let's go through this first. Okay. Yesterday also, I asked the same question, like, why do you want to learn SQL and all? You gave me different answers there, and we also saw a couple of job openings, right? Each and every job opening, though it says Power BI developer or a report developer, but what is the skill it is asking? SQL and Excel also, right? Along with that, a few of the positions, they are also asking for Microsoft certifications. If you just search for them, like Power BI developer and all, they ask for PL300 certification from Microsoft. Or Excel related reporting work and all, they ask you for Microsoft Excel certification, right? So different certifications are there. Fine then. Why should I learn SQL? Most of you may have this question also, like, why do I need to learn SQL? See, the point I'll tell you, if as a reporting analyst or a data analyst, if you know SQL, you don't need to depend on any other team. You can write your own queries and get the data and create the reports out of it, right? Usually this is the way, right? Even I can share my real-time experience back then, maybe a 2010 and 11 time. If a requirement comes, right? Because we are not from the technical experts, okay? We are just only from the reporting, team. So if the client shares a requirement in the call, we need to again go to the IT team, okay, where we have the SQL development team, talk to them, explain them the requirement, okay, which is asked by the client. And the IT team writes a query, runs it on the database, and they give us the data. And using this data, we used to create the reports, either Excel reports or the reports in PowerPoint and different things we used to do. This used to take a lot of time, right? But after, our company actually sent us for SQL training. And after learning that SQL, what happened, you don't need to talk to any other team. Once the client gives you the requirement, you know it very well. So you write a query, you get the data, and you create a report. Easy, right? So that's the reason earlier, if you look at any data analyst or reporting analyst positions, Excel is the one mostly companies used to ask. Then Excel and SQL combination. Now Excel, SQL, and any visualization tool, be it Tableau or Power BI or ClickSense combination. A few of the companies have started asking this also, a little bit of Python idea. Okay, so you don't need to create complex programs there using Python, but at least a little bit of data analysis related Python is also needed, right? Slowly companies have started asking for this, but not majority of the companies are asking. Majority of the companies are asking for Excel, SQL, and Power BI, or Excel, SQL, and Tableau. But soon Python is also going to be added to this list. Most of the companies will start asking for Python as well soon, right? So when you learn SQL, you understand the requirement and you create a report easily, because you understand it and you write the query and you get the data. Reduce the dependency on the IT department. You don't need to reach out to anyone else to create or to get the data, right? Perform better than peers. Be more employable, more skills, definitely more employability. As an analyst, you know the requirements well, right? That means you can write a better query. Yeah, I'll tell you a simple example. If you are good at something, if you know that already, and if I'm explaining you something to, get something done, if you know that, you can do it on your own, right? You don't need to consult anyone else. But what usually happens is that if you are not good with SQL, same thing, from my real-time experience, I can say, client tells us something, right? We try our best to share the same message with the IT team. This is what client is looking for. We need this data. Then IT team understands it in a, let's assume, in a little different way. They create a query and they run it and they give us the data. And using that data, we create a report. We send it to the client, and client looking at this, and the client says, okay, the numbers are not looking okay. You know why? Because IT team did not follow whatever we shared. Or they understood it in a little different way. As a result, we got wrong data set. And using the wrong data set itself, using that itself, we created one report, right? Then what happens? Obviously, the output is also incorrect, right? So the quality of the data also matters a lot, right? So what if the incorrect data is used for the report creation? Obviously, your report is also incorrect only. You understand the point? So that's how it used to take a lot of time to complete one requirement. But after learning SQL, you don't need to talk to anyone. You talk to the client explains, okay, this is what we need, and you only write the query and get the data and create the report, right? Aggregate functions like sum, count, average, and so many other complex functions can be implemented easily in SQL instead of writing a very complex formula in Excel. Writing a formula in a few instances, Excel formulas, they look little complex compared to SQL. SQL, implementing these aggregate formulas in SQL is easy actually. Okay, but most of us, we find Excel is the most easiest interface, but SQL functions, in few cases, they are like very, very easy to write. Okay, so we'll also see that, and you will be able to easily understand the data modeling concepts of any of the data analytics tools like Power BI, Tableau, ClickView. And this is the reason yesterday when we opened those different job opportunities, right? How are they looking? Most of them are asking for SQL. Though it is a Power BI developer role, SQL is there, right? Because if once you understand SQL, then only you understand the other tools, how they work, right? I'll show you the connection also, why you need to learn SQL. Okay, what is a database? Database can be anything where you store some related information, some meaningful and related information. Okay, so it could be anything, a phone book, shopping list, or a Facebook users base, or anything. So where do we store this database? Where do we store the database? On a paper, we can store it. Yes, on a paper, you can consider that as a database, right? But we don't prefer in the organizations, we don't consider a paper as a database. Why? Let's say if you need to store a millions of transactions, how many papers do you need to use? Earlier, you remember all our old accounting system, how we used to do that? In the physical books, there is a department called bookkeeping, bookkeeping department. Their job is to manage, organize all these different accounts, related books, and what do we say, the ledgers and all that stuff. But now you don't need to do that. Why? Because we are storing all of them on a computer. We have the SSDs, HDDs, right? Different kind of memory devices. There we are storing. Our mind is also a database. Yes, is it true? Our mind, is it a database? Do we store a lot of data? Right, but why don't we prefer storing the business or transactional data in our mind?
Nobody else can actually.
One thing, yes, others can't access it. Our mind, whatever the data that we store, right? Any other challenges?
Can be found.
Correct. What if we forget? Let's say there is $1 million transaction and we stored it on our mind and our mind forgot that. Then there is a problem, right? The problem with the mind is it remembers all unnecessary things and forgets all the important things. So that's the reason we cannot store any valuable information, something like transactional data and all in our mind, right? What is the best place to store the data? On a computer, using any memory device. It could be any hard disk or a solid state drive or any kind of other drives, okay? So we can store the data there. So the best place to store the data is on a computer, right? So what is a database? Any related information, you can consider that as a database, and where we can store this data on a computer. Perfect. Okay. A database is collection of data objects where the related information is stored in the form of tables, views, and so many other things also there. Stored procedures are there, triggers are there, functions are there. So all these things collectively put together, we can consider that as a database where we can store some data. Okay. Understand, a database is a place where we store some related data. That's it. Right? Perfect. So what all could be the places where we can store this data? Okay. On the CSV file, you can store it. Excel file, we can store the data. Or a SQL database, Access database, Oracle databases, all these places we can store the data. But the first two, these two are little different because they are files. They are not databases. But in the file also, you can store some data. But they are not database applications, okay? Excel and CSV files, PDF files, Word files, there also you can store some data, yes or no? But that is not a database application. It's just like a file system file. It's just a file, can be opened using any application, that's it. But a database is usually served by a database server. There you see a server and a client interface. We'll talk about that. What is that server and client environment? But understand that Excel files, CSV files, PDF files, Word files, PowerPoint presentations, all these things, of course, they can also store some data, but they are not database applications. Database applications are different. For example, you can say Microsoft SQL Server. There you have a server, there you have a database, right? What is a server? What is a database? How these things look in the real time and all, I'll discuss that in detail. But for now, understand that there are files available that can store the data. There are databases also available. They are designed to store the data. In Excel, you can do so many visuals, so many, what do we say, create so many pivot tables. You can create the dashboards using Excel, right? But in a database, we don't do all that. Database job is to store simply that data. That's it, right? That visualization and all, we can do it in some other tool like Power BI. We can connect that database with Power BI and we can create the visuals. So the database job is to simply manage and store the data. That's it, right? We cannot create any dashboards or something using databases. But these applications, these files like Excel, right? Maybe a PowerPoint, we can do so many other things also. Not only just storing the data, we can do so many other things. But database main job is to manage and store the data. That's it. Okay. Right. What is SQL? And after that, after this, I'll just have to show you, right, a different slide. Then I'll take you there. You'll understand that. What is SQL? Structured Query Language, SQL. Structured Query Language. Okay. And as I mentioned yesterday also, this SQL course is not a complete DB development course. It is only the data analytics and reporting related course. And that is enough for us. Even if you try to learn other, commands, you may not be able to perform all those things in your real time. So there is no point learning all of them. We just need to learn only the things that are needed for us as a data analyst or a reporting analyst, right? So this SQL, whatever we are going to use is only a reporting and analytics related SQL. It's not a complete SQL, okay? And the SQL is common, right? Be it for a reporting analyst, the SQL is common. For the database developer also, the SQL is common. But the commands are different, right? I'll give you a simple example. Yesterday also I was telling the same thing. If there is a car mechanic sees that car in a different, from a different perspective. Car driver sees the car in a different perspective, right? Car driver always looks for what? Only just how to drive the car. But car mechanic, looks at the different components of the car, okay, whether they are in the right condition or not. Mechanic usually may know that, driving skill also. But the car driver needs to know what is that? Only the driving skills and a basic troubleshooting skills. That's it, right? So in the SQL for reporting, that is what we are going to do. We will try to understand the entire database environment and the database objects, how they are designed, and doing a basic troubleshooting also we will learn. But our focus is mostly on how to extract the data and then create the reports. That is our focus. SQL, right? Structured query language, pronounced as SQL. And it is a language using which we talk to the servers. Okay. So before getting into this, what is SQL and SQL Server? I'll show you a presentation. Then you will understand it better. And then I'll show you the real-time systems, how they work. Okay. Here we go. To understand more about SQL and SQL Server, right? And who is a client, what is the database environment. So I just translated all of that into a restaurant example. Okay. So let's use this, easy example to understand SQL and SQL Server and a client, and then we'll get into the technical stuff. Right, most of you may have this question, like, SQL, I hear SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle servers, or IBM servers, right? Databases, all these things are like little confusing, okay? There is a SQL database, there is a SQL language, and Microsoft SQL Server. All these things, they sound very much similar, but they all are different. But how to understand this? Let's turn this example into a restaurant example, okay? Let's say you have decided to go to a restaurant. Right? There is a building for that restaurant, okay? Great, then. So you go and sit inside the restaurant. You find a table, you sit there, right? Tell me, what are you or who are you to that restaurant? You're a customer. Excellent. Any other names? For a customer is correct answer, but any other name? Buyer. Okay, excellent. What else? Any other? Client. You're a client.
Client.
You're a client to that business. Right? You are a client for that particular transaction. You are a client to the business. Of course, we can use the normal word as customer also, but let us stick to client. You are a client there. Perfect. You are a client. And you want to place an order. What is it you do? Directly go to the kitchen and order? No. You will wait for someone, right? Who is that person? Waiter. Any other name? Server. Perfect. There is a server, right? Server comes to your place. So can you randomly say something to that person? No, right? What is it you do? Correct. You look at the menu card, right? In the menu card, what do you see? Chicken biryani, mutton. Okay, here we go. You see the different products and their prices and the approximate time it takes. In few of the restaurants, they mention this also, right? Approximate time, it may take 25 minutes or 15 minutes or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, different, times. So the different items that you see along with the pricing and the time it takes and all, right? Perfect. So you looked at that item and you liked it, something like, let's go with a paneer butter masala, right? If you're a non-vegetarian, then you can go with chicken butter masala. Okay, fine then. Here we go. So you looked at one item and paneer butter masala is what you want, and you talk to who? Server, right? Yeah, server. And I want this paneer butter masala, right? Okay, here we go. How do you communicate this message to that person? Let's say you visited a Hyderabadi restaurant, okay? How do you communicate? And you talk in Spanish. Is it okay? No? French? Malayalam? No? Okay, what is the language you prefer there? Hindi, English, to some extent Telugu, right? You can use these languages. Okay, I have a question here. Why are you talking to that person in that language only? Why not Malayalam?
To get him understand.
Exactly. That means whatever you are saying, your server should understand it, right? So that means you are using a language which is commonly understandable between both of you, right? Let's say if the server talks in a different language to you, even you don't understand that. So that means the client and server should have a common language that is understood by both of them. Right, you say that, okay, I want this, paneer butter masala, done. So what is the job of the server now? Understood the requirement, done, later.
Pass on to the check.
So you placed an order. Let's talk about a normal, forget about the technical stuff. In a restaurant, what all happened? You just tell me this. Server understood the requirement. What happens? Server stays there only. Server stays there only at your table. No, right? What happens there? Goes to the kitchen, correct. These days they all are using the tabs. That's a different story. But usually a server goes to the kitchen and tells the kitchen staff that this is what a table number 14 wants. Done. Now your order has been placed. Correct? Done. Then now the job of the kitchen, the chef who is there, right? What is the job? Prepare that food. Correct? Perfect. You see so many ingredients there, so many masalas there and all that stuff, right? So prepares it. And once that is done, and the chef comes to our table and delivers the food. No. Again, it is a server job to go there, pick up the food, come to our table and deliver it. Done. Okay, fine then. That means your food order got processed and got delivered onto your table. So in the entire transaction, this is called one transaction for us, right? Let me turn this entire thing into our SQL language, right? Who are you there in the restaurant? Who are you? Client. And with whom you spoke? Server. You used a common language, right? To talk to the server, right? That common language here in the restaurant, we use Hindi, Telugu or English. In the SQL environment, we use a common language, SQL, structured query language. Why do we use that language? Because we want our server to understand our requirement. Done. Server took the request, right? Goes to the kitchen, right? Kitchen is your physical database. There you have all the tables, those ingredients and all the tables. Okay, using these tables to get your request processed, we use the joins, we use the subqueries, we use the unions, we use the distinct keywords, we use conditions, we use aggregations, we use so many things. And mixing all those things, we get a result set prepared. There in the restaurant, our food gets prepared. Here, a result set is prepared. And that result set, server takes it, comes back to our table. Table is nothing but our client application here inside the computer, returns that result set to us, right? You looked at that menu, right? Menu, you can say your database documentation. There you have all the table related details and all that stuff, right? In the menu, you see the products and all, right? So there you see the tables and how the tables are designed, what kind of keys and constraints are applied on the table. All those things you will see that in the database documentation. And when you place a query or when you place an order, right? And there is an approximate time to complete that, right? Similarly, server also has an approximate time to complete your request, right? Let's say, I'll give you a simple example. Let's say paneer butter masala and it shows 20 minutes approx. But you give conditions now saying, okay, I want less paneer, right? More gravy, more spice, less onions, right? With little butter in it, right? So you are actually deviating from the standard procedure, what they have to prepare that food, right? Because it is your customization. Now you tell me, which one will take more time, the standard one or the customized one? So that means when you are talking to your server, giving so many conditions and so many clauses there, obviously the food will take more time to get it prepared. Yes or no? Similarly, in the SQL also, the more conditions, more joins, more aggregations, more subqueries and all that stuff that you write, that will make the query definitely a complex and it will take more time. Understood? Right? Who are you? You are a client. With whom you are talking? Server. In which language you are talking to that person? SQL. And the server job is to go where? Database and gets that data prepared and deliver to us. Now you understand? Now you understand SQL Server is different from SQL language, right? SQL Server is a server application and it understands a SQL language. You get the point? And who sends that SQL language command? As a client, we send that command. Understood now? Okay, perfect then. So you have decided to talk to that person in Telugu. Okay. And that person is from, let's say, Hyderabad, knows Telugu. And you are from Andhra, and you also speak Telugu, right? Will the Hyderabadi Telugu person be able to understand Andhra Telugu person one request?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that means in Telugu also different variants are there. In Rayalaseema, you have a different variant. In English also for that matter, UK usage is something different from the US, right? So that means there are different variants you can use while talking to that server. Yes or no? Right. But here in our SQL sessions, we are going to learn a variant which is a T-SQL variant, Transact SQL. Why a Transact SQL? Why not MySQL? Why not ANSI SQL? Why not any other SQL variant? Okay, why not them? Because every server, okay, each and every server, of course, SQL is a common language, like Telugu is a common language, but there are different accents in Telugu. Similarly, SQL also has different variants. In our case, we are going to use TSQL. Why TSQL is because we are using here Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server is our server application. We as a client, we need to talk to the Microsoft SQL Server in TSQL language only. Why? Because Microsoft SQL Server understands TSQL. Of course, it's SQL only, but it is one of the variants of SQL, right? Okay, you get a question here. Okay, fine. Then here in this class, I'm learning TSQL, which is meant for Microsoft SQL Server. That is great. But how about this? Once I join a company and my client asks me to work with MySQL, how do I do that? You no need to worry. Almost like 95% of the commands, they look very much similar across all these different variants of SQL. You learn any one of the SQLs, other SQLs look same. My own example, when I learned Oracle SQL. Okay, later I started working with my client in MySQL. Now I'm delivering the sessions on TSQL. So it doesn't really matter. There are a few commands, they sound little different. It hardly takes any time to learn them. They're like very easy to understand and learn because concepts remain same. Okay, the command may be something different, but the concept is same. A simple example could be if you want to set up a primary key in Oracle, we use a keyword auto increment. In Microsoft SQL Server, the same command we use identity. Keyword is identity, and in Oracle it is auto increment. Very much similar things. Okay, they do the same kind of a thing, but you just need to do that mapping. But you understood, right? What kind of an environment we are working with? It is a complete database environment. It's like a restaurant, and we are a client, and we talk to the server. Server gets our food processed and delivers to us. Similarly, the same way. Now let me just show you this here in a big picture. Restaurant is equal to database. How do we treat this? I mean, the database environment completely. So restaurant, what is it? We have physical building, right? Contains everything needed, organized system and all. So there we have the server environment, stores all the data, structure storage in the database side. Okay, restaurant server, who takes the request and all. We are a client. Manager is admin who actually monitors all those things. There is an administrator role also, right? So the database server and the restaurant server. The kitchen versus the database. In kitchen, you have all the ingredients, right? In the database, you have all the tables, views, stored procedures, functions, whatnot. All those things are there, right? And the way we place the orders, customer orders a mail here, client sends a query, right? Server writes down and gets passed into the database related language, and then kitchen prepares, nothing but the data gets processed, and finally food is delivered, nothing but the result is returned. We call it as a result set. Whatever the query that we write, and as a result, we get some output, right? The data, we call that as a result set. Result set. The result set gets delivered to us, right? So here, the menu card, there we have like different things and the different database tables and all. So insert, update, delete, and the kind of things that we do. Yeah. The dining experience, like customers, you have dining tables and bill. So all those things, you can turn that into a database client, use a customer client connections, and then finally the results output. Okay. Fine then. So if you understood this, then going forward, it's going to be easy for you to understand what is a SQL language, who is a server, who is a client, and where our data gets processed. Got some idea now, right? Let me just turn this into this visual, then you can easily understand. Okay. This image, where are we? This is where we are. What are we? Clients. Perfect. So you write a command here. You want to get so-and-so data from so-and-so database table. Okay. Done. And you send that, let's say you want to get some data, nothing but it's a data retrieval command that you are passing. Right? It's a data retrieval command. And it can be any kind of a command that you can pass, but I'll be talking more from the data analyst standpoint. So as a data analyst, what kind of commands we pass? Usually data retrieval commands. We want to get some data from the database, right? So directly you cannot talk to the database. You have something in between. What is a DBMS, a database management system? It's our server. Okay. You write your command here on the screen. I want to get so-and-so data, nothing but it's a data retrieval query, and the data retrieval query that goes to the database and the database management system, and the database management system goes to your database. In your database, there can be millions of records and so many types of tables. But if you are looking for last 6 months sales transactions data, okay, you want to analyze last 6 months, how the sales are. Then that sales table is somewhere here in the corner. Okay, but do you want the entire table? No, you want only last 6 months, right? That means the database server will filter only that much data from the database. And then finally, the process data will come onto your screen, the last 6 months data. Once we get that last 6 months data, what is it we do? We get the data into Excel or Power BI or Tableau or ClickSense, anything. We can connect to that and then create the visuals. That is what we do. Understood? Right? So now you tell me, what are we? Client. What is this DBMS? Server. In which language I write the command here? SQL, SQL, such a structured query language, but which variant of SQL? TSQL. Perfect. Why are we using the TSQL? Because our server name is Microsoft SQL Server. That is a server name. Right? That is the reason we are using a TSQL command. Okay. Once you use the TSQL command, your DBMS understands it, goes to the database, picks up the right amount of data, and it shows it on the screen. And once you get the data, it's up to us how you want to analyze it. Understood? Right? Okay. Yesterday, I was showing you the same thing here, how the reporting roles look. Let's say you are using Power BI or Excel. You want to get some data, which is there in the database. Then you write a query. You pass one SQL query, and DBMS picks that, and it goes to any of these databases. All these things are the different databases, okay? And it gets gets us the data into our reporting layer. And once you get the data into the reporting layer, you can create any kind of a report using the data. Understood? Now we got some better idea, right? What are we? Client. Which language we need to use? Yeah, SQL. And which variant of SQL? TSQL. Right. Why are we using TSQL only? Because exactly, Microsoft SQL Server understands TSQL. Our server application understands TSQL. Right? Perfect. Okay. Before getting into this introduction to RDBMS, as you have some idea, let us talk about the real-time systems, what we see, so that you can easily relate to these examples now. Right? Now you get some idea, right? What is a restaurant? Restaurant, if you consider that as a complete database environment, who is a chef, who is a server, right? Who is a client and all that, who is a manager. You got some idea, right? So before getting into the RDBMS, let me talk about the real-time systems. Then we'll come back to this and try to understand how these servers and all they are managing the data. In the real time, we have two types of systems, OLTP and OLAP, online transaction processing and online analytical processing. Two systems. Okay, so what are these two systems and why do we need them? Okay, here we go. Let us talk about first of all OLTP. Okay, OLTP, online transaction processing. As the name says, online transactions processing. Okay, online transaction processing. So the basic of it is an online transactional system and manages the database modification. So whatever the database modifications that you want to do, it is done by the OLTP. The best example for the OLTP is a billing system. Okay, you go to a shopping mall and you buy something, whatever happens there in the billing system, that billing desk, okay, that is managed by OLTP in the background. Okay, that's a OLTP system, right? So what happens usually in the billing? Let's say you go to a shopping mall, you pick up a couple of dresses and you go to the billing counter. What happens there? A transaction. But yeah, you tell me the process, how it happens actually, step by step. Correct. Usually, these days, every product has that barcode. Just scan it. Automatically, all the product related details will appear on the screen, right? And they look at that. Let's say you took one product, which means the quantity is one, and there is a price, let's say 500, right? And you took one product, and you have another product also, scans it, right? The second product, which is like 800, right? And the third product is also there, 700, So when they scan it, all those products, and it will show up bill like, 5, 8, and 7 all together like 2000, yes, 2000 rupees, right? It shows the total bill. And then that person asks you, is it a cash payment or a card payment or UPI? And you say that, okay, it's a UPI. Then the QR code comes up and you scan it, right? The 2000 is made, done, and then automatically it generates a bill. What happened in the entire thing? One transaction. So, which means it is an insert command happened there, basically. Insert. A new transaction got inserted into the transactions table. Okay, done. While this is happening, while the insert is happening, nothing but a new transaction is getting entered into it, right? So you checked, that person asked your mobile number because you are like a frequent, customer to that business. Ask for the mobile number, enter the mobile number, and it is able to fetch your name, your address, your contact number, email address, and everything is there. And you looked at the screen and you said, please can you update my email address because the other email address, whatever I gave you at that point of registration, and I'm not currently using it. Can you change it to some other email address? Can the billing, executive be able to change that address, email address? Depends on the access rights. Usually it is okay. Changing the email address is usually okay. That's fine, right? And then person, edits your record and removes that previous email address and updates the new email address. So what's happening there? Basically, an update is happening for your customer details related record. Update. And then you found two addresses. One is your, residential address, which is your permanent address. The other one is the office address. And you recently moved to a different office and this particular office address, whatever is there, it is no more valid for you. Then you said like, okay, can you delete that office address because I'm no more working there. So no longer working there. So can you switch, can you delete that? And I just need my residential address to be there. Can that person be able to do that? Yes, based on the access rights. Yes, if the access is given to that executive, that address can be deleted. So what kind of a transaction is happening there? Delete. So insert, update, delete are the most commonly done things in the OLTP. Okay, insert, update, delete only the focus of the system. The job is to insert the data, update the existing data, or delete the existing data. That is what it does. Done? Okay, fine then. So OLTP data is considered as original source of data. Original source. Why we call it as original source? Because that is where the very first transaction taking place. Right? That is where the transactions are actually taking place. Then you get a question, why are we calling this as original source of data? Do we have any duplication also possible? No, it's not actually duplication there. This, whatever the data that we recorded in the OLTP, eventually that will be moved or copied or cloned to some other system. So that means it's a duplicate. There will be a duplicate created in some other system. What is the system? I'll talk about that later. But for now, understand that where are these transactions taking place initially? In the OLTP only. So that is the reason we consider this as the original source of data. That is where the very first time the transactions are getting recorded, right? Okay, OLTPs, they have the short transactions. Okay, the best examples are like billing counters or ATMs. That is also a best example. That is also OLTP only, right? They have like short transactions. Okay, if you go to the billing counter, no one is there. How much time would you expect the transaction to be done? Let's say you took 2 products. How much time? 1 hour? Tell me. How much time? You take 2 products, you go to the billing counter, no one is there, right? How much time would you expect it to be done? 1 or 2 minutes? I mean, yeah, reasonable expectation, right? Yeah, perfect. So that means they are like short transactions. Why? Because it is only insert, update, delete. And what is it they do? They simply scan the codes and show the bill amount, and this is what, and you make the payment and bill gets generated, transaction is over. That's it. Right? 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Because they are short transactions and comparatively they take less time. Okay. Comparatively they take less time because they are like their job is very, very simple. Insert, update, delete. Because we handle what? Simpler queries in OLTP. Why we call them simpler queries? Because the job of the OLTP is to manage what? Only insert, update, delete commands. That's it. They are easy. What is this normalization and what is this data integrity? I'll come to that point shortly. Okay. Right. So a simpler queries we use normalization and integrity. I'll show you shortly in a different example. Coming to the OLAP, online analytical processing, as the name says, analytical processing system, right? So why do we use this? It's an online data retrieving and data analysis system. And why do we want to use this system? Because extract, we want to extract the data for analyzing that helps in decision making, right? So the focus of this system is to help the business in taking the right decisions, okay? And there is no direct data recorded inside OLAP. You know how the OLAP systems, they get the data? They get the data from different OLTPs. I'll give you a simple example. You have businesses in different metro cities like Bengaluru, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi. Okay, you have each business operating on its own system. There are data centers available. The database is located in the same city. CEO who sits in Mumbai location wants to see what happened throughout India. How did we do the transactions yesterday? What is the total sale value? Then that CEO needs to do what? Needs to give a call to Hyderabad business head, find out how much sale. Chennai business head, how much sale, right? Yes or no? Write down all those things and then do a sum. I mean, is it looking to be okay? No, right? Definitely doesn't sound good, right? What should be done? All these databases data, whatever is being recorded in those OLTP systems, somehow we need to copy all the data into one place. You get the point? If all the data is there in one place, as a CEO, what happens? CEO can directly have the access to all the data which is there in one place. That one place is called our data warehouse. Data warehouse. You hear this word warehouse, right? What do we do in normal warehouses? We store something, right? It could be a food or something, right? Maybe vegetables or something, right? Rice. Yeah. Here in the data warehouse, what is it we store? Data. Exactly. In a normal warehouse, where let's say if it is like a FCI, the Food Corporation of India warehouses, okay? You get that rice. Yes. From where? Only one place. No, right? From the different rice mills that are located in different places. All of them, they will be, deposited or stored in one place. That's a warehouse. It's a rice warehouse. Similarly, what is a data warehouse? A data warehouse gathers the data from the different databases which are there, which are connected to those OLTPs where the actual transactions took place. All the data will be extracted, transformed, loaded into a data warehouse. This is where a concept comes into picture, ETL. Tell me, from the rice mills, The rice, will it directly get into the warehouse, or FCA warehouse? No, right? There has to be some process, and few people should be working for it to get that rice from all the way from that rice mill to a rice warehouse. You get the point? Similarly, from the different databases, if you want to get the data into a data warehouse, there is a team called ETL development team. ETL developer, there is a role, ETL developer. What is the job of this ETL developer? Go to each and every database, extract the required data, transform the data into the required shape, and the transformed data will be loaded into our data warehouse. This is called ETL process. The data which was initially stored inside a database which is connected to OLTP, later it will be copied into a data warehouse with the process called ETL, extract, transform, load. Okay, this data warehouse doesn't contain only one database information. Usually it contains the databases, different databases information into one place. Now you tell me, what is your data warehouse? A data warehouse is a central repository for all your databases, right? You get a question like, the CEO can directly connect to these individual databases also, right? Which are located in different places via internet, connect to all of them and create a report, right? That is also possible. But that technique is not good. I'll explain in the next example. But for now, understand that even before you want to get into that analysis related stuff, all the data has been gathered and stored inside a data warehouse. Now, what is the advantage of keeping all the data in one data warehouse? If the business head wants to know what's happening, then directly connect to the data warehouse. Why? Because you have all the data there that is coming from different OLTPs. Now you understand? If everything is available in one place, then it is easy for you to analyze the data. Now you got the point? And who does all this? From the normal OLTP databases to OLAP data warehouse? Who does? ETL developers. ETL developers are usually part of data engineering team. There is a team called data engineering also. Okay, what is the job of the data engineering? The data engineering team is to build the pipelines and build that infrastructure, how the data can flow from one database to the other database. Check whether all the data is successfully getting stored inside the data warehouse or not. Any transactions are missing while getting the data. Sometimes it also happens that way, like due to a technical glitch or something, out of millions of transactions, 10 or 20 transactions are missing, then it will lead to the data integrity and other kind of accuracy related issues. So they check so many things. There will be checkpoints. They build the data pipelines to flow the data from one table to the other table, right? This is what taken care by the data engineering team. So the data engineering team has so many departments. One of those things is ETL development team also there inside, and their job is to do this activity, get the data from the different databases and put that into one data warehouse. Now you get the point? Right? In our real-time data, you see two different things. OLTP does something, OLAP does something. OLAP has this data warehouse where all the data is stored inside. OLAP has long transactions. It's not like OLTP, okay? OLTP focus is what? Simply insert, update, delete. I'll give you a simple example why it takes more time and why it is a long transaction. You want to get last 1 month bank transactions data. Is it possible on your mobile? You use mobile banking applications, right? Yes. Okay. Can you extract the last 1 month transactions? What happened? Yeah. Yes. No. Can we? Yes. Okay. Here we go. Yes, we can get the last 1 month. Okay. Last 1 year is also possible. Usually banks, they offer like 365 days access to your history of banking transactions. How about last 5 years data? No, you can't directly access it. You will have to place a request, and then that will be processed later, and an email will be generated, and sent to your email address. Right? Why like that? Usually, if you are trying to retrieve a lot of data, it takes more time, and you will have to wait. Is it okay to wait? No other option. You will have to wait. Right? It is not something like you go to an ATM and you withdraw the money in 2 minutes. No, if you are expecting last 5 years or 10 years banking transactions data, you'll have to wait, right? One thing is, of course, it's not a very complex query, but sometimes we trigger complex queries also on the databases. If it is like a very complex query with so many conditions and aggregations and so many clauses, then obviously it will take more time. Okay. So OLAP has long transactions. It takes more time because we run complex queries on OLAP, right? Both the systems, they contain the data. OLTP, OLAP. OLTP focus is to simply insert, update, delete to do the transactional things. OLAP job is to retrieve the data and analyze it. Okay, analysis purpose basically, right? That is OLAP. But both the data is basically, from one system to the other system, it is being copied. Yes or no? From multiple OLTPs, we are getting the data into one OLAP, which is our data warehouse, right? Okay, here's the point. Can't we do both of them in OLTP itself? Why? Because in anyways, in OLTP also has the same data, right? Yes or no? Can't we do that? Yes or no? If the data is stored in one place, of course, the system is taking care of insert, update, delete. Why can't I just extract the data from the same system and create reports? Can't I do that? You're getting the point? There is a database, okay, that has already data. Can't I connect to it and create a report? I can. I can do that, right? But the primary job of the OLTP is to handle what? Insert, update, delete. But on top of that, what is that I'm doing? I'm doing a data retrieval also from the same system. But it can do, right? It can, I think it can be done. But why do companies maintain two different systems? If the data itself is there in one place, why do we need to again copy it to a different place and then access it from there? You getting the question? Right? Let's do a small activity. With that, you will understand it easily. All of you got pen and paper, right? Take a rough paper. Rough paper, okay? Don't write it in your regular notes. On a rough paper, this is what you need to do. On a rough paper, please. Do it. Once you do it, you will understand why companies require two types of systems. With a simple example, okay? Use a rough paper and do this activity, please. Ready? Okay, here we go. Write 20. 20. Okay. Write 30. Done? Okay, I have a question here. Okay, write 50 also. Okay. So you wrote three things, right? 20, 30, 50. Perfect. You know what's happening there? What kind of activity is it are you doing? In terms of SQL, I want to hear the answer. What is that you are doing? Insert. Perfect. You are inserting the values, new values. Right. Okay, here we go. The second value, I said 30, modify the to 35. Strike it off, put it as 35, please. Right? What did you just do?
Yes.
Perfect. You did update. After 50, write 100. Okay. Now, how many values you have? How many rows or records that you have now? 4 records. You got like 20, 35, 50, and 100. 4 values. Correct? The first value 20, I said, right? Strike it off. We don't need that. What did you do? Delete. Perfect. So in these things, you did insert, you did update, you did, and just now you deleted also, right? Now you are left with how many records? 3 records. Perfect. Now you write 105 after 100, right? So far it is going very smooth and cool, right? Now here's the catch. Sum the first 2 numbers. How much? 85, 35 and 50, right? Okay. I said 105, right? Write 150 there after 105 and get me the sum of first 3 numbers. And also write 123 in the last position and get me the sum of first 4 numbers. right? And write 185 and get me the sum of all the numbers. And the right one more value is 205. And again, get me the sum of first two numbers. Why are you not telling me the sum?
Complex.
It's not complex, but many things are coming back to back. You are focusing on writing something. And at the same time, I'm also giving you an analytical task, which is nothing but an aggregated value I wanted. Get me the sum of first two numbers, get me the sum of first four numbers or all the numbers. If I'm giving you that task, one way you are busy in writing the numbers. Parallelly, I'm giving you insert commands. On top of that, I'm giving you aggregate commands. On top of that, I can give you a modification command like update command, delete command, all those things. If I'm giving you, then one of those tasks definitely you are missing. Just, you are unable to handle all of them. But let me do one thing. This entire section will be handling only the insert, update, delete. And you will be answering only those analytical questions. Is it okay? Yes? Easy? Right. Two different systems if you have, then one system takes care of only insert, update, delete. One system takes care of only the analytical related thing. Then it is easy for the end users also. So this is the reason in the real time, we do not go with only one system. If one system is there, that one system, the OLTP system is the client facing system. Nothing but the customer is the one who uses that OLTP. And let's say, I'll give you an example. Amazon kind of a company implemented only one system, OLTP. That means where the customer places the order, and along with that, all the analysis related things also triggered on the same system. Your business may be running so many queries like, okay, which product has the highest sales, which product has a lower sales, top 10 products, and what we did yesterday, what is the total sales, maximum profit, minimum profit, profit margins, and all that stuff. All these queries are triggering on the same system. And the other side of the system is it is also serving the customers. If it is handling both of them, would you find any latency issues? If you are doing both the things in one place, did you find any latency issues or the complexity issues and all? Yes, you found that, right? Similarly, Amazon kind of a system, if the customers are trying to place the order, because the server is busy in serving the analysis related requests, and you are trying to place the order and it is somehow failing, because server is unable to handle that. One way it is handling the analysis related, one way it is also handling the orders related. You're getting the point? You attempt it twice, thrice, four times also, right? It is failing. Because the server is busy in serving analysis related requests, right? Now, what will happen to the customer? Let's say you are the one, you tried placing the order on Amazon for 4 times and failed. What do? You need that product now. I mean, urgent, you need to place an order. You'll switch to, let's say, some other platform. There it is showing 10 rupees extra. It's a product of 1,000 rupees on Amazon. On Flipkart, it is showing 1,010. Would you come back to Amazon and try to place the order once again? No, right? 10 rupees is like, okay, manageable. It's not, I mean, if it is like 1,500, then you may think, but 10 rupees only, right? But don't think about only that 10 rupees, okay? Here you're losing a customer on Amazon platform. You getting the point, right? So understand this, companies can't take this kind of a risk, right? Because of a latency issue, your customer leaving your business. So that means they wanted a dedicated system that handles all the customer requests. Now you get the point why when I asked you to do both of them, you're like struggling. But if the same thing is done by two different systems, it's easy. One system takes care of insert, update, delete. The other system takes care of only analysis. Have you got the point? Right. So that's the reason we have the two systems. And the best examples for OLTP is your billing systems, ATMs, right? And so many other systems that you see. Every day, a lot of transactions they happen, and all of them, they are part of OLTP only. And these OLTPs are used by data entry operators. Yeah. In the billing, what's happening there? What's happening in the billing system? Data entry, right? Okay, I'll give you so many examples like this. Like there are SAP end users. They say that they work on SAP, right? They use SAP HR module or SAP FICO module, right? Different modules as end users, okay? What is that job basically? If you ask me, that is technically a data entry job. Yes, that is. But only one thing is that that is such a high-end and complex application. You will have to have so much knowledge, experience to work with that system, right? But ultimately, what is happening there? Data entry only, right? OLTPs are used by who? Data entry. OLAPs are used by who? Who use the OLAP? A is there, right? Analytical system. Who use it? Data analysts, they use it, right? Okay, tell me, I have another question. Are we data analysts or are we data entry operators? Data analysts? Okay, so that means which system we use in our real time? OLAPs. But outside in this world, okay, forget about the company's business and your job, okay? Are we data entry operators? Yes? Okay, how? Do we do the data entry?
Some cases.
Right, what are those cases? Filling the Google form, yes. Placing orders, yes. I think definitely you did a data entry today. I'm very much sure. Anyone made a UPI transaction? You scanned a QR and made the payment? Yes. Probably you would you would have had a tea or a coffee somewhere and you would have scanned it. What happened there? Data entry. Right? You entered your transaction there and you approved it with your PIN. Right? Okay. And another interesting thing, how many of you visited a bank in the recent past? None of you. You see that the dependency on the banks, nothing these days actually, unless there is a serious issue, right? Now you see earlier, if you want to get the cash, right? What is it we used to do? We used to go to a bank and submit our passbook, submit a withdrawal form, and then they ask us to wait there in the queue and they give us a token and we go to the counter and we collect the cash. So much process, right? So bank employees used to work or they used to do our data entry. But now we are doing our data entry. So that means less dependency there. So that's the reason earlier we used to have a lot of staff members in the banks, but no, I mean, we don't need those many staff members. Like everything is automated, right? All your online transactions, because of the internet availability, things have become very, very easy these days, right? They've become very, very easy, right? So we are also data entry operators in few instances where we do the data entry on our own using all these applications, our Google Forms, our UPI transactions, all of them are data entry only. A Swiggy, Zomato, order if you place, what is it you're doing? We are doing a data entry there. You are selecting your items. Yes or no? Right? Yeah. What is data normalization and what is data integrity? I'll show you with a simple example. And in this, I'll have to talk about the keys also. Okay. I think this is a very easy table to understand. Okay, what kind of data do you see there?
Employee.
Employee table, right? Perfect. What kind of data do you see there inside the employee table? Hmm. Correct. Department related, employee name, salary, boss, commission, and many other things, right? Gender, what else? Job ID, job name, department name, salary, and things like that. Okay. Cool then. I have a question here. Just think from the Excel standpoint only. Okay. Don't consider any other application, but just take a look at this table. And I have a question here. Tell me this. Can I create a report? Can I create a report or a summary? The total salary paid by the job. Is it possible? Total salary paid by the job. Is it possible? Using this table. I want to see total salary paid by the job. Each and every job, what is the total salary we are paying? Like managers, what is the total we are paying? Developers, what is the total we are paying? Testers, what is the total we are paying? Can we do that? Right? In Excel, what is it you do? If you want to get that output, total salary paid by the job. Some you can do, okay. Some if you need to do, okay. Yeah, some if you need to do. But for every job, you cannot write a sum if, right? There is an easier, a much more easier way. What is it you can do it to easily summarize the data to show the total salary paid by the job? What is that? Total salary paid by the job. This is the table. You need to show me a summary. Pivot table. Why are we thinking? A question comes about data summarization. What is the technique that we use? What is the feature that we use? Pivot table. Right. Summary of the data can be easily, done using what? Pivot table only. Right. So can you do a total salary paid by the department name? Is it possible? You want to see the total salary paid by the department name. Is it possible? Possible? Using what? Pivot table. Okay. Tell me one more thing. How many employees are working in each department? Is it possible? Right? Now what do? Again a pivot table. This time we take the count of the employees and the department name. Right? Okay. Can you tell me each and every designation, nothing but the job, what is the highest salary paid? Can we do that? Yeah, pivot table only. This time the salary max we will take and the designation is going to be in the rows. If you work with the pivot tables, simple drag and drop will get you all those summaries. Yes? Okay, can we find the total salary paid by the gender? Yes? Okay, excellent. Okay, can we find the total salary paid by the location? No? Okay, why no? Exactly, we don't have a location. So that's the reason it's not possible to create that summary because the location column itself is not there. So understand when a requirement comes, of course, all these formulas, pivot tables are available, but along with that, the data should also be available. If you want to create a report, most of the cases, this is where, even the clients, they don't have idea about what kind of data is present. They simply say that we want to see this, right? You can give them the confirmation only after checking the data, whether it is available or not. In this requirement, if I want to see the total salary paid by the location, it is not possible. Why? Because the location column itself is not there. Then how can you create that? You got the point? But rest everything, whatever I asked, like total salary paid by the designation, total salary paid by the department, or the number of employees by the department, and all those things are quite possible, right? Using this data with the help of a pivot table. Excellent. Now, let me ask you a few questions about this. Tell me, can I get the total salary paid by the department name? No? Okay. Can I get the total salary paid by the job name? No? Okay. Can I find the total salary paid by the gender? No? Why no? Exactly. Whatever the columns I'm asking, salary column is there, but the gender, our department, our job, we got only the IDs, not their names. You got the point? But let me show you this now. Okay. Take a look at this requirement. Can I find the total salary paid by the job? Is it possible? How is it possible? By using two tables. Okay, what all tables you are looking at? Designation table and employee table. Perfect. You have the designation table and you have employee table. Excellent. So using these two tables, we can create a pivot table. But I get a question here. A department name is there in some other place, right? So how can I get that here? Let's say I want to get the department name here, D name here, okay? What is the process of using this or, maybe, yeah, let's go with the department ID only, okay? So if I want to go with the department name and the total salary paid or the job and the total salary paid, if I want to get that, let's say in this example, I want to get the department name. Tell me the process. VLOOKUP, excellent, yeah. Equal to VLOOKUP, lookup value is this. And in here we have the table array, second column 0. Yeah, here we go. These are the department names. And now can I create a pivot table using this table? Yes or no? Why? Because we have the department name and as well as the total salary. Okay, can I get the job also here using the job ID? Formula? Yeah, same VLOOKUP. Lookup value is the job ID, comma, you have the table array here, right? F4 second column at 0. Done. Okay, here we go. Can I create a total salary paid by the job now? Yes? Perfect. So that means if you are seeing the data in multiple tables like this, then there is a need of writing the lookup formulas to fetch the data into a single table. Then you can create a pivot table. You know why in Excel we stress a lot on the lookup formulas? Because of this issue only, or this way of data arrangement only in the databases. In the databases, the data is not stored in a single table. The data is stored in multiple tables, okay, like this. Earlier, you were able to, happily answer all those questions in a single table. But now, whatever the question I'm asking, what is that you are doing there? You are looking up the same value in some other table and fetching the value and then create a pivot table. Now you are getting it. In the real time, the data is stored like this only, the one that you are seeing on the screen. Not like this. No, you don't usually see the data like this. You see the data like this. That is the reason in Excel also why we stress, on the lookup formulas, because in the real-time data sets are not there in a single data set. They are there in multiple tables. Then what is it you need to do? You need to use these lookup formulas like VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index match, HLOOKUP, different kind of lookup formulas that you need to use to get the data into a single table. Then only you can summarize the data. You got the point, right? So that is the reason lookup formulas in Excel are very, very important. In SQL, joins are important. In SQL, we call it join. Why? Because the data is stored in multiple tables. You get a question. I have a question for you. Tell me something. If the data is like this, you enjoy creating the reports, or if the data is like this, you enjoy creating the reports. This one or the other one? Which one you like the most or you enjoy the most to create reports? The current one? Why the current one? Exactly. All the data is there in one place. So you can happily create a report. No need to write any complex formulas also. Yes, if the data, everything is there in one place, it is easy for us to create the reports. And that's what we all like. Less work. Yes or no? Yeah. But in the real time, the data you always see this way only. The database developers, they create the data tables like this only. You definitely get a question. Why the database developers, they put us under trouble, okay? If they create the table, everything there in one place, we can happily create the reports and our job is also very easy, right? Why do the database developers create the tables like this? Okay, this is where the data normalization concept comes into picture, okay? What is data normalization? Data normalization, of course, the technical definition sounds something different, but it's a very easy way to understand. A large table will be split into multiple small tables. Okay, what is data normalization? Easy understanding. For now, consider that a large data set or large table will be split into multiple small tables like this. Multiple small tables, department table, designation table and all, right? Now, why do I need to do that? Using the normalization, there are so many advantages. In the SQL concepts slide, once again, I'll talk about that. For now, understand that a big table will split that into multiple small tables, but we keep the keys, a common key between the tables. In Excel, using the same common key, what is that you do? You do VLOOKUP. In SQL, using the same common key, what is that you do? You do a join. In Power BI, the same common key, what is that you do? You create a relationship. Okay, same concept. Okay, why do we do the data normalization? I'll show you a couple of points today so that you will understand. And with that, I'll have to give you another task today about the keys only. Okay, fine. So let me explain you why we prefer this. Okay, tell me what is one? Job ID 1. Who is it? What kind of a designation is it? Manager, right? Wherever one is there, I can actually store that as manager also, right? Nothing wrong. You can actually write that as manager also. But why don't we do that? Why don't we why don't we write manager directly? Why do we prefer writing one there? Simple example. I'll give you a pen and paper. I'll ask you to write one. I'll ask you to write word manager, right? Which one takes less time? One. Which one consumes less ink? One. You're getting it? So that means wherever the word manager is coming, if you put one there, definitely it writes it fast and it also consumes less ink. Yes? Same thing. When you perform a data normalization, you can save a lot of space and the data can be accessed quickly. Instead of physical values, you store their keys. You're getting the point? This concept is called data normalization. Once again, I'll explain that, but for now, you just for today understand that in the database table, we do not store the physical values directly. No, we don't do that. What is it we store? We store a key, a corresponding key to it. Okay, using this key, you can go to a separate, some other table and there you will find its physical value. But we do not directly store the physical value inside the table. Why? Because it takes more space and it takes more time to write that value. You're getting it? Right. Tell me something. Remembering one is easy or remembering MANAGER is easy? Number one is easy. You're getting the point? So the same concept is called data normalization. In order to reduce the data redundancy and inconsistency, we do the data normalization. What is data redundancy and what is data inconsistency? I'll talk about that in the SQL concepts, but for now, you just understand each and everything is replaced by a key in the real-time tables, not with their physical values. Physical values are stored separately in some other table. Up to this point, everyone is okay. What is data normalization? What is data normalization? Instead of storing all the data in one place, we split the tables into multiple small tables so that it is easy to store the data and it consumes less space. You understood that concept, right? If you take a pen and paper and you write it, you will understand that, right? Writing one and writing manager. One consumes more, less time, less ink, but manager consumes more time, more ink, right? Nothing but more space. Done? Right. So the data normalization we understood, okay. There are different forms of normalizations. A few of the articles, they say up to fifth form of normalization. But this normalization concept is more for the database developer. We don't need to worry about that because at the time of designing the tables itself, they will have to think about how to normalize the tables. It's not our job. Once the data is normalized and the data is entered, then our job starts. How to extract the data and create the reports. And finally, data integrity. This is also another interesting thing. I'll talk about that in detail. Okay, tell me something. Okay, let me just... can I use 60 as the department ID there? Is it possible? Is it easy? I mean, is it possible to write 60 there? Okay, why no? Can't I input 60 there? Yes or no? Can I input the 60 as a department ID? Is it possible or not? Yes or no? Okay,
No,
if it is yes, why? Yes,
we
if it
don't.
is no, why no?
We don't have any physical value for that.
Come again once, please.
For 60, we don't have any physical value in the department table.
If you look at this departments table, do you have a 60 department ID here? Right, here we go. An ID which is not present in the departments table cannot be used in the employee table. Right? A simple example, a product which is not there in the products table cannot be sold to the customer. Right? I give you a simple example. When you go to a shopping mall, you pick up a product and that person scans that barcode, and if the barcode details are not being fetched, can the billing executive be able to sell that product to you? No. So that means if that is not existing in their product table, they cannot sell it. If a department ID is not present in the department table, that cannot be assigned to any of the employees. So this is how you can actually maintain the data integrity also. You understood the point, right? Okay, so the detailed discussion, we will do that in tomorrow's session. I hope you understood why two systems are there, what kind of a system as a data analyst we use, what kind of a system is used by the data entry operators, right? What is the focus of these systems and what is the data, where the original data is recorded and how it can be cloned or copied to a different place. What is that process called? OLTP data that gets into OLAP? ETL, extract, transform, load, ETL developer role. Okay, there are different tools. Talent is there, I think Cognos, or different tools are there. Informatica, I think the other one that we use. So different ETL tools are there, right? And using which you can actually get this data from OLTP to OLAP. And we understood why the two types of systems are needed in our real time, because one system is handling all the client related things and the other system is handling only the analysis related things, right? And also we spoke about what is data normalization and what is data integrity. What is data normalization? Yeah, a large data set or a large data table, we split that into multiple small tables. Okay, I'll talk more in detail about this process and what is a dimension table, what is a fact table, and how to identify them and all in our presentation here. Okay, there are a few things that we need to discuss step by step. I'll take you through all these things and then we'll do the installation tomorrow. Okay, SQL Server installation tomorrow, right? There are a good number of advantages, right? What is RDBMS? Relational Database Management System, and what kind of a server that we are using here? It is Microsoft SQL Server, right? So any RDBMS, it has to comply with the rules proposed by EF-COD. There are 13 rules proposed by EF-COD, and someone who wants to develop an RDBMS application, they need to follow these rules. As a data analyst, we don't need to care about them, because someone like a Microsoft company, if they want to develop a new software, right, an RDBMS software, then they will have to comply with those rules. Okay, as a data analyst, we don't need to. So basically RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, understand that where the data is stored in the form of tables that have the relationships. Okay, in the RDBMS, how the data is stored? It is stored in the form of tables that have the relationships. Relational Database Management System handles the data which is there in the tables that have the relationships. Simple. How these relationships are created, tomorrow we'll see. And just now I discussed the keys are there, right? Department ID. After doing the normalization, we got the keys. These keys play a major role there, right? Using those keys only, we create the relationships. I'll take you through this advantages of SQL tomorrow. But for now, you understood these points, right? What is the language we are using? SQL. Which variant of SQL? TSQL. Why are we using TSQL only? Why? Because our server is Microsoft SQL Server. And the version that we are using, we are going to use in this training, is Microsoft SQL Server 2022 Developer, which is the most advanced one. Okay, Microsoft SQL Server 2022. And we have a client name also, because we as a client, we need to interact with the server, right? Okay, can I talk to my computer like this? No, right? I need an interface to talk to the server, right? So what is that interface called? SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS. That is our client application. We will also learn that, okay, how to install that and how to pass the queries from a client to the server, right? We understood what is a database, what is a table, right? What is normalization, what is denormalization, right? Which data set is easy to create a report, normalized data or denormalized data? Denormalized data. In the normalized data, you see the same data, but in multiple tables. And these multiple tables data can be joined together using keys. There we talk about primary key, foreign key. Tomorrow I'll give you a detailed explanation about a primary key and a foreign key. But for now, I'll give you a small task about the keys only. You need to respond in the WhatsApp group. Okay? A few things. Employee ID. Okay? Aadhaar number, PAN number. Employee ID, Aadhaar number, PAN number. Are they primary keys or not? Okay, this is what you need to find out. primary key is nothing but something that helps us to uniquely identify that record. Okay, so employee ID, Aadhaar, and PAN. These are the three things you need to answer in our WhatsApp group, whether you think they are primary keys or not. Clear? Right. The detailed explanation we'll do tomorrow about these keys. Right? So once we are done with the installation tomorrow, then we'll get into the coding part. Okay, there are a few SQL concepts that we need to learn before we get into the coding. And once we are done with all of them, we'll move on to the coding, I mean the SQL query writing, and we also need to understand there is something called schema designs. Okay, so how the schemas are designed using the dimension table, fact tables and all. What is a star schema design? What is a snowflake schema design? You'll get slowly, all these things, okay? But for today, all of you are comfortable, right? This terminology, what is a server, what is a client, what is a language, where are we writing it, who is a, who is actually taking that request, where it is getting processed, right? You're okay? What is OLTP, what is OLAP, and what is the challenge in using only one system in the real time. We understood that also. If only one system is engaged in doing both of them, like one thing is taking care of insert, update, delete, the same thing is taking care of the data analysis request. We understood the challenges there, right? What is a data warehouse? We understood, right? Where this data actually gets recorded? In OLTP or OLAP? OLTP. That is where it gets recorded, and from there, all the data will be, we do ETL, right? Extract, transform, load to a data warehouse. What is a data warehouse? It's a central repository to store all the data from different OLTPs. Clear? Right. Fine then. So I'll end it here for today, and tomorrow we'll see how to install servers, how to install client, how to restore the databases, right? These things. Someone like a server administrator. Of course, we are not going to play a role of server administrator in our office, but as we are going to install in our local systems, in our personal laptops, we'll be working like a server administrator for the couple of days. And after that, we'll switch to completely a data analyst related job. Okay, because that server is going to be installed in your computer. So you are the server administrator for the first couple of days. Okay, done then.
Can you please help with the issue which I'm facing with my server?
Yes. You share your screen.
Yes.
Yeah, others, if you want to stay, and I think we did a weekend batch there, and we installed the server already. Someone is facing an issue. If you want to stay here and see it, watch it. Otherwise, anyways, I'll cover this one for you tomorrow. Share your screen. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Is it visible?
Yes.
So I went to this first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I think it's getting loaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. I think expand the first name column once.
This one?
Yeah, expand it. Name column, not that one. There is a name, right? Just next to your cursor.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on, don't move your cursor. Move your cursor towards little right, towards your little,
Okay, name column, yes.
correct, yes, yeah. There, between the state and the name column, you have a line. Expand it. Correct. Looks like a good number of servers are running in your computer. Okay, do one thing. The second one from the top. Yeah, SQL Server 02. Yeah, right click and stop that also. We just need only one server. We don't need
Stop. Okay.
Yeah, just hold on. Give it a minute. Perfect. Now the SQL Server is running. Okay, keep this on only. Go to the SQL Server network configuration. Third one from the bottom.
Yeah, there's no item to show in this.
Third one from the bottom.
The third one from the.
Correct, yeah. The first one, double click,
Okay.
yeah, or open, that's also fine. Yeah, TCP IP enabled only. Perfect, yeah. Just minimize it. Just don't close that. Minimize that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I go to that another one?
Yeah, SSMS
Studio,
Open
yeah.
SQL Server Management Studio. Perfect.
It will ask for a username.
Yeah, just hold on. The window should pop up there.
It will pop up.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Server name.
Okay, hold on. On the above, there are two tabs, history and browse. Go to browse, go to local,
Okay.
expand that. Pick up the first one, default, select it. You have a checkbox. Click OK. You have a checkbox, trust.
Here.
Yes, trust it. Click connect. Correct. Now your server is connected with your client. Go to the databases on the left side. Expand that. Yeah. Yeah, you have your databases restored already. Select EMP database there. Take a new query above.
Okay.
Your,
Database.
no, hold on. You have the menu at the top, right? File, edit, view, get, file, edit, file.
Okay, okay, just a minute. Okay, file. Yeah.
Yeah, edit. And there, if you go to get, there
Okay.
underneath that you have new query. No, don't click on that.
Yeah.
Take it. Now you just write a simple query. Select star from employee. Space. Select space star. Yeah, yeah. Write it right. Yeah. Okay.
Space.
From employee. Yeah, hit a tab to select it.
Yeah.
Okay, execute it. There is execute button. That's it. Yeah, your server is ready. Just that only the connection related issue you are finding. You just need to go to that browse and there you have a local server. Server name is the default one, the very first one. Don't use other instances of the server. Okay.
Okay.
Only this. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So this will happen every time whenever I will close
No,
it.
no need. Just close that now. It
Okay,
should pick
let me
up the
close it.
default one. Close it directly. Don't save the query. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Don't
save.
save or save?
Yeah. Don't save. Don't save. You don't need to save it.
So if I
Close this. Close
yeah,
this.
let me close it in the beginning.
Close this window. Close that SSMS.
Yeah, yeah.
Now open again.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah. Okay. The first one.
Yeah, yes, yes.
You don't need to do all this.
Okay,
We're
I
done with
don't
the
need to do
configuration.
anything.
Close this. We don't need. Close this.
Okay.
First one. Yeah.
So tomorrow class is the same link?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now
Okay, now
connect.
it's showing the name. Connect or I have to go to browse?
No, it's already there.
Yeah, so I just have to connect.
Correct. That's it.
Then I just have to go to new query.
First of all, you need to choose the database.
Okay,
Which
data.
database you want to write. Otherwise, you can use it from the drop down also.
Employee and then new query, right?
Correct, yeah.
Then select star.
Yeah, you can write any query, but yeah, I think we are done with only a basic query there.
Execute. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so same in the same link, we will be having the class for tomorrow.
Better just check with the front office.
Okay, front
They
office.
may change it on the second day if I'm not wrong, but just check with the front office once.
Okay, I'll check with them. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I already have SSMS installed in my laptop, but
Yeah.
it is 19. But now you're using 21, right? So is it okay, or I have to delete it and uninstall it and install again?
No problem. I'm even in on my computer also I have the 2019 only. If you don't want to use it, you can uninstall and install the new one, but otherwise it's okay. 2019 is also fine.
Oh, okay. So only the server name will change, right? I mean,
Yes, the most of the things they look same, but the interface and all they have changed a bit in 2021. So let's do one thing. Even I need to upgrade my server and the client. So I'll also change or uninstall and install that. So let us
okay.
learn that process tomorrow then.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great, then let's catch up tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the server installation and client installation. Thank you.